Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 2, Julie Insect Valley. Chapter 69-96 Strange Developments in the Spider Cave. 69th of Volume 2. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Yinshi San said, in recent months, many rare herbs and medicines tainted with immortal haze have appeared near Burial Immortal Town. Some can help open the Fengfu acupoint, ancestral field, or even the Qi Si, while others aid in pure immortal physique transformation. Elder, this is an unprecedented opportunity. Because of this opportunity, the Zhu clan, Sui sect, Sanchen Palace, Tianyi sect, and Coffin Si Guanhai Pavilion have all produced multiple Nine Springs Supremes recently. Some mortals and aberrant humanoids who had broken through the Five Seas realm have also seized this chance to transform into pure immortal physiques, becoming leading figures among the younger generation. The Sui sect and Sanchen Palace are particularly ambitious, even using the immortal haze-tainted elixir to cultivate successor seeds, each vying to become an ancient myriad sect. The gatekeeper elder had long known about the immortal haze-tainted elixir. Shui Zheng, for instance, had used it to transform into a pure immortal physique. If he had then broken through the Nine Springs ancestral field, wouldn't he have become a successor seed? Unfortunately, Li Wei had killed him, enraging the Shui clan. Old man of medicinal cuisine said, they're just false seeds. True successor seeds must possess over 100 veins. That can't be achieved simply by taking rare medicines. But a pure immortal physique transformation would fundamentally enhance combat strength at the same cultivation level and future potential, the gatekeeper said, his expression solemn as he pondered the matter deeply. Yinshi San continued, after the immortal haze space within Burial Immortal Town expanded, immortal haze-tainted elixirs reportedly began appearing frequently. That's why I felt it was imperative to return and meet with the Hidden Lord. Personally, the hidden ones of the hidden sect are all Nine Springs Supremes. If we could obtain these elixirs and transform a few into pure immortal physiques, it would be nothing but beneficial. Publicly, Burial Immortal Town is located in Li Province. Shouldn't the Zhu Li clan have the final say over its resources? These resources are far from inconsequential. They are crucial to the clan's prosperity and will profoundly impact the landscape of Li Province for the next century. I've heard that some areas of the immortal haze space are accessible only to martial mystic cultivators below the Dao seed stage, while others are restricted to those in the Spring Surge realm. Still other places can only be entered by pure immortal physiques. For the Mengshan Grand Festival in 9 days, the Divine Temple and Dao Academy have jointly decided to change the traditional competition format. Instead, they will enter the immortal haze space of Burial Immortal Town to seek opportunities, using this to determine rankings and standings. Seeing Yinshi San's anxiety, the gatekeeper remained calm. The higher your cultivation, the more difficult it becomes to undergo a pure immortal physique transformation. A martial mystic cultivator in the Spring Surge realm might achieve it by consuming a single rare medicine. But for someone in the first stage of the Five Seas realm, it might take 3 or 4. And for the second stage of the Five Seas realm, it will be even harder. There are no shortcuts that are easy to take. Yinshi San breathed a silent sigh of relief. So the hidden sect had been monitoring the situation in Burial Immortal Town all along. That was good, at least they hadn't underestimated or ignored it. On the plaza, Li Wei had meditated to restore himself to peak condition and now stood up. He pressed his palm against the psychic stone wall, challenging the third person, Lingxiao First Commander. Whoosh! The spirit light, spiritual qi, and scriptures flowing within the psychic stone wall shone much brighter than before. The mural figure of Zuoqiu Ling, Lingxiao First Commander, was tall and imposing, clad in tiger beast armor. Standing nearly 2 meters tall, he lacked any sense of savagery, exuding instead a sharp, domineering aura and an air of aloof pride. His weapon was the 9 Nether Halberd, a weapon that had shaken the southern territory. Resembling a rake, it had 9 prongs and a shaft nearly as long as his body. Legend had it that the 9 Nether Halberd was forged from a special immortal material that could continuously enhance its power and grade. The Zuoqiu Ling depicted on the psychic power mural appeared to be a formidable figure, yet he was only 13 years old, far from reaching his peak state of 8-foot frame, seated like a divine mountain, lying like a slumbering dragon, moving faster than the sun and moon. Even someone as powerful as Yao Qian could only be called the Lizhou First Commander in the Southern Territory because he had such an insurmountable mountain looming over him. The number 1 ranked warrior in the Jiazi book, Zuoqiu Ling, wielder of the 9 Nether Halberd. Everyone present held their breath as Zuoqiu Ling appeared, partly out of respect for his undefeated record. Let's begin. Li Wei sensed that Zuoqiu Ling was even stronger than Yang Shenjing. Standing there casually, Zuoqiu Ling showed no weakness, like a towering mountain that could only be moved by brute force, leaving no room for clever tactics. Therefore, Li Wei held nothing back, channeling all the spiritual qi within his Fengfu acupoint. Whoosh! A sword strike cleaved the air, trailing a 10-foot-long golden sword qi. Faced with Li Wei's full power attack, even Zhuoqiu Ling couldn't meet it with his usual strength. He immediately activated his ancestral field spiritual qi to counter. He swung his halberd, its 9 prongs leaving 9 bright trails of light in the air. Boom! The clash sent both warriors staggering backward. Just when everyone was holding their breath in anticipation of a fierce battle between the two, Li Wei suddenly conceded. As expected of the Lingxiao first commander. Even my full power strike could only match you. If this sword couldn't defeat you, there's no need to draw the next one. There's always a mountain higher than the last, and a hero greater than the last. I underestimated the heroes of the world. Li Wei sighed, then turned and walked away. He resolved to break through to the 9th spring ancestral field as soon as possible. To defeat the world's #1 cultivator while still at a lower cultivation level was nothing but a pipe dream. Yin Shi-san frowned, his eyebrows furrowing like 2 upright blades. After just one exchange, where they seemed evenly matched, why did he concede so quickly? If he had defeated Zhuoqiu Ling, he would have become a divine hidden one. Didn't he want to become one? The gatekeeper struggled to digest his shock, too lazy to explain to Yin Shi-san. Come, let's go see the Hidden Lord. Since Burial Immortal Town has undergone another major upheaval, and even the Mangshan Grand Festival is being held there, the hidden sect must take action. Yin Shi-san was overjoyed and followed. Why don't we send that kid? He's only in the Spring Surge realm, but I think he could take on a whole crowd by himself. What, kid? Haven't you realized he's destined to become a divine hidden one? Watch your tongue, boy, the gatekeeper said. Yaoyan hurried after Li Wei, who was returning to his cave dwelling to cultivate. The air around her was filled with a fragrant breeze as she spoke softly. I've come to your cave dwelling many times over the past 2 months, but you've been in closed-door cultivation. I have so much I want to tell you. Li Wei replied, speak now. I'm short on time. Yaoyan could sense his coldness, which stung her heart, though she understood. After all, her feelings had always been one-sided. She recited the words she had rehearsed countless times. First, I want to apologize. It was truly a misunderstanding before. Yin'er Shi-si has explained everything to me. Thank you so much. I know I owe you a great debt of gratitude. Li Wei's mind was preoccupied with breaking through to the 9th spring. He barely listened, simply murmuring, it's nothing. Yaoyan had to jog to keep up with his pace. And second, I actually wanted to ask why you kept holding my leg on the ship to the hidden sect. And why did you save me in the flying winged white spider cave? Huh. Li Wei finally turned his attention to her, forcing a sheepish smile. The first time on the ship was an accident. Consider the second time an apology for that accident. Then your intervention to stop Li Qing from killing me. Wasn't an accident, was it? Yaoyan asked timidly, yet her gaze remained fixed on him. Li Wei stared at her for a long moment, until Yaoyan began to fidget under his scrutiny. Then, he suddenly blurted out, baseball bat. Do you know what that is? Yaoyan had no idea what he was talking about. Li Wei continued, like a sword cultivator's sword, once it's been used, it inevitably develops some kind of attachment. Attachment. Yaoyan's eyes darted around, growing brighter with understanding, but then her cheeks flushed crimson. Never mind. I can't explain it clearly right now. Pretend I said nothing. My mind isn't here at the moment. Li Wei entered the cave dwelling, closed the stone door, and activated the formation. Yin'er Shi-si followed the two all the way to the cave dwelling's entrance, where she saw Yaoyan locked outside. A strange surge of anger welled up within her. Has he gone mad from his cultivation? It seems like it, Yaoyan replied with a smile, but in this state, he seems to speak his true feelings without realizing it. As Li Wei entered the cave dwelling, the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors immediately swarmed him. Lately, Li Wei had been so focused on closed-door cultivation that he'd neglected them. The 7 were starving and crying out, finding the medicinal cuisine insufficient to fill their bellies. Their bodies seemed to be suffering. Li Wei caught each phoenix-winged moth emperor one by one and measured their body length. They were still just shy of 2 inches long. Their bodies weren't growing anymore. Entering the blood-mud space, Li Wei consulted his spirit tablet master. The 7 of them are on the verge of a breakthrough. They need a powerful medicinal elixir to transform into beings comparable to 5C's realm martial cultivators, the voice from the spirit tablet said. Yaoyan and Yin'er Shi-si had just left, taking only a few steps, when the stone door behind them suddenly opened. Li Wei emerged, saw the 2 women turn back, and said mysteriously, time is of the essence. We must act immediately. Yin'er Shi-si instantly understood what he meant and nodded lightly. I'll arrange a boat to depart from the Silver Beach River Valley. It's less likely to be discovered from there. Where are you going? Yaoyan asked, her face alight with curiosity and her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Can I come with you? No, this journey is too dangerous, Yin'er Shi-si replied firmly. She's right, Li Wei said, returning to his cave dwelling. He strapped on his insect tube and took up his yellow dragon sword. This was Yaoyan's first time entering Li Wei's cave dwelling. Her eyes gleamed with sharp intelligence as she tentatively asked, "Are you going to the underground river cave where the flying winged white spiders gather?" "How did you guess?" Li Wei asked. "When you came to the hidden sect, you only participated in that one trial," she replied. "Where else could you possibly go? And wouldn't there still be precious medicine there?" Li Wei fell silent for a moment. Yaoyan pleaded, "Please let me come. I can help in some small way. I don't want the precious medicine. I just want to gain experience facing danger." Li Wei couldn't find a reason to refuse. Yin'er Shi sat in a small boat on the edge of the Silver Beach River Valley, watching a man and a woman approaching in the distance. Her expression turned cold. "She's only providing assistance and won't take any precious medicine. We agreed on this beforehand," Li Wei said, leaping into the air and landing lightly on the boat. Seeing Yaoyan follow closely behind, Yin'er Shi knew it was pointless to argue further. She muttered something under her breath, then released her spiritual qi, propelling the boat toward the spider cave. To return as quickly as possible and avoid detection by the hidden sect, the three of them charged directly into the cave. Yin'er Shi and Li Wei led the way at the bow. With each swing of his yellow dragon sword, Li Wei effortlessly sliced through vast swaths of spiderwebs. Yin'er Shi followed with a series of palm strikes, unleashing hurricane-like gusts of spiritual qi that swept away the flying winged white spiders in droves. Yaoyan stood in the middle of the boat, clearing up any stragglers. 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors guarded the stern, battling the pursuing swarm of spiders. They understood the purpose of this mission perfectly and fought with exceptional zeal, their insect eyes gleaming with excitement. After just over an hour, Li Wei once again saw the purple glow emanating from deep within the cave on the right side of the Blood River Passage, and caught the strong scent of medicinal herbs. The purple cistanche was about 50 or 60 yards from the riverbank. In the small central area, the medicinal qi was so dense that it had condensed into a hazy purple mist. The 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors, drawn by the scent, became ecstatic and fluttered their wings in a mad rush to reach the source. But the scene that followed chilled the 3 people on the boat to the bone. As the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors entered the purple mist, they didn't land on the cistanche. Instead, they vanished into thin air. A strange rustling sound echoed from deep within the cave, and the purple mist expanded several times in size. Li Wei's expression changed instantly. Ignoring Yaoyan's protests, he immediately disembarked. "Yaoyan, stay and watch the boat. Yin'er Shi, follow me 10 yards behind. Be careful of the spider king with 4 blood-red wings." Li Wei tied a rope made of spider silk around his waist, handing the other end to Yin'er Shi. "If anything goes wrong, pull me back immediately." Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 2. Julie Insect Valley. Chapter 97, The Ashen Domain. 70th of Volume 2. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. The distance of 50 to 60 meters could be crossed in an instant by Li Wei's current cultivation. But within this dimly lit spider cave, choked with spiderwebs and fraught with peril, the path seemed eerily deep, as if he were stepping further and further into the eerie darkness of the netherworld. His mind was on high alert, his senses fully engaged, vigilant of his footing and the shadows around him. After advancing over 40 meters toward the cistanche, Li Wei stopped, turning back to look. 10 meters behind him, Yin'er Shi's slender, ethereal figure was slightly blurred, but her cold, beautiful face remained visible. Further away, Yaoyan by the Blood River was reduced to the size of a fingertip, almost completely swallowed by the darkness. They were already far apart. Ahead lay the unknown territory shrouded in purple mist. The 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors had been incredibly powerful, yet they had vanished without a trace after entering, never to return. As their master, Li Wei had lost all connection with them. At the center of the purple mist, the cistanche stood over a meter tall, radiating a crystalline glow and shimmering with radiant colors. But its alluring form and the medicinal fragrance it emitted no longer held any appeal for Li Wei. Instead, it now seemed like a seductive, venomous beauty, stripped bare and flaunting her alluring form, a creature of extreme danger. Yin'er Shi tightened the spider silk rope and nodded to him. With a 5 Seas realm expert providing support behind him, Li Wei felt a surge of confidence. He raised the yellow dragon sword, secretly channeling his spiritual power to activate the corpse garment soft armor he wore beneath his clothes. Then, he took a step into the purple mist zone. Whoosh! It was like stepping into the eye of a storm. His body swayed, his feet left the ground, and everything vanished from his sight. Inside the purple mist zone, the reality was far from the tranquil surface. It was a chaotic maelstrom of untamed forces. Li Wei's heart pounded in terror. Shouting, "Pull me back!" he struggled to regain his footing. His feet finally touched the ground, and he stumbled out of the purple mist zone, only to freeze in shock. He was no longer in the spider cave. Where am I? Beneath his feet lay the finest black sand, so fine it resembled dust. Before him stretched a vast expanse, dotted with towering Yardang landforms, bizarre, jagged mounds carved by wind erosion. The eerie purple glow of the sistanch illuminated the scene. 100 paces away lay the edge of the purple mist, fading into the darkness. But Li Wei believed that beyond the darkness lay an even vaster expanse. The spider silk rope at his waist had long since snapped, but he didn't know how. He turned back abruptly. The purple mist still shrouded the area, swirling and shifting into various forms amidst the wind and sand. Li Wei. A faint, distant voice echoed. Moments later, Yin'er Shi drifted through the purple mist like a weightless leaf, then suddenly plummeted sideways. Li Wei flicked out a strand of spiritual qi. She quickly regained her balance and floated to the ground. As her feet touched down, she immediately noticed something amiss. The ground was even softer than desert sand, her legs sinking half a foot deep. Releasing more spiritual qi, she lightened her body and slowly pulled her legs free. After surveying her surroundings, Yin'er Shi's eyes widened in growing shock. How could there be such an eerie place beneath the Zhuli Insect Valley? This doesn't look like the nest of a flying winged white spider. Why didn't you pull me back? Li Wei asked. Yin'er Shi glared at him, her large, round eyes filled with annoyance. I pulled with all my power. I even snapped the spider silk rope, but I couldn't hold you back at all. Li Wei realized the gravity of the situation. While cautiously scanning their surroundings, he walked toward the purple mist. You shouldn't have come in here. You should have taken Yaoyin and left immediately to seek help from the Hidden Lord. I have a feeling this place. The moment Li Wei stepped into the purple mist, he lost his balance and was violently swept back by a chaotic and powerful force, thrown several meters away. Yin'er Shi exhaled deeply, her breath transforming into a gentle breeze that enveloped him. Of course, she knew Li Wei's suggestion was the wisest course of action, but she stubbornly retorted, I'm in the Five Seas realm. It's my duty and responsibility to bring you back unharmed. After landing and regaining his footing, Li Wei's eyes flickered with wariness. He pointed at the purple mist, as if to say, you're in the Five Seas realm, you try. Yin'er Shi exuded the aura of a true powerhouse. She channeled her immense spiritual qi into her palms and strode toward the purple mist, using her hands to carve a path through the swirling chaos, determined to force her way through. But the spiritual qi emanating from her palms dissipated into nothingness upon contact with the purple mist. The stronger the force she exerted, the greater the recoil. Bang! Yin'er Shi was sent flying backward, crashing heavily to the ground. Li Wei didn't even have time to catch her. Her slender body was almost completely swallowed by the black sand. After a long moment, she crawled out, utterly disheveled. Her face was covered in dust, her hair bun had come undone, and her waist-length hair hung down in a tangled mess. Yin'er Shi quickly composed herself, regaining her aloof, expert demeanor. Be careful of the black sand on the ground. If you don't use spiritual qi to levitate your feet and body, you risk being buried and sinking deep into the earth, suffocating to death. Li Wei had already noticed this. He channeled his spiritual power into his eyes and gazed into the distance. This place doesn't seem naturally formed. It likely holds unfathomable dangers. I only hope Yaoyin is smart enough to return to the hidden sect for help immediately. Whoosh! The purple mist surged and churned once more. Yaoyin, clad in a white cloud silk robe, plummeted from within. Li Wei closed his eyes and sighed deeply. Yin'er Shi immediately stepped forward, her voice laced with frustration. What are you doing here? We're trapped. You should have fled the spider cave immediately and sought help from the Hidden Lord. Ignoring the two women behind him, Li Wei scanned the area and located 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors. They were circling a 6 or 7 meter tall wind-eroded pillar, excitedly munching on the sandy soil. Li Wei was puzzled. He used his mental power to communicate with them, but received a terrifying response that sent a chill down his spine. They claimed they were eating Sistanch precious medicine. But the purple Sistanch was clearly dozens of meters away. What they were eating was clearly the sandy soil of the wind-eroded pillar. Li Wei's scalp prickled, and cold sweat broke out on his back. He immediately used his mental power to tell them the truth, but it was useless. The 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors remained convinced they were consuming precious medicine. This isn't good. This place is incredibly dangerous. Li Wei's voice trembled. He wanted to rush over and bring the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors back, but as soon as he took a step forward, he immediately retracted his foot, fearing he would suffer the same fate. He then channeled his mental power, inscribed insect script 6T, and forcefully commanded them to return. The insect scriptures within the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors flickered, unable to withstand Li Wei's mental power, which had reached the square-inch bright flame realm. They flapped their wings and flew back, but as soon as they reached Li Wei's side, they plummeted to the ground, their bellies swollen like spheres, hard and unyielding to the touch. Yin'er Shi and Yaoyin had arrived behind Li Wei earlier and witnessed the bizarre scene. They were terrified and wanted nothing more than to flee immediately. Let's go, quickly. Li Wei stuffed the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors into his insect tube and charged toward the purple mist, activating his yellow dragon sword and slashing through it. Yin Ershisi and Yaoyan also unleashed their own attacks. Unfortunately, instead of clearing a path, the purple mist zone shrank further after being struck, eventually vanishing completely. What's going on? Li Wei rushed forward, first swinging his sword and then waving his hand. The area where the purple mist had been was now empty, utterly desolate. His face darkened. Now we're completely trapped. Yaoyan knelt down, studying the fine dust and black sand on the ground. Sister, do you think this could be an Ashen domain? Yin Ershisi had already sensed something amiss. She replied gravely, perhaps, but how could that be? We're underground. The books say even the smallest Ashen domain is hundreds of miles wide. What's an Ashen domain? Li Wei asked. Yaoyan replied, I've never seen one myself, but according to ancient texts, the Lingxiao realm has 6 or 7 such mysterious places. In these Ashen domains, all life has vanished, and danger lurks everywhere. That's why each Ashen domain is also known as an Ashen hell. The largest and most dangerous Ashen domain, according to records, lies west of the western border domain state. It spans tens of thousands of miles and is impossible for humans to cross. Legend says it's the remnant of an ancient immortal who burned down an entire Lingxiao realm. Look at this sand beneath our feet. Doesn't it look like ash left after wood burns? It's so soft and loose that without using spiritual qi to support our bodies, we'll slowly sink deeper and deeper into the earth. Li Wei didn't know much about Ashen domain, but he understood the danger of their current predicament. With our cultivation levels, we can't maintain a constant flow of spiritual qi. We must find a way out quickly. Yin Ershisi looked up, exhaling a wisp of spiritual qi to form a misty bridge. With a graceful twist of her waist, she leapt onto the bridge, aiming to reach the top of the Ashen domain. She soared upwards for dozens of meters before plummeting back down, caught by Li Wei's spiritual qi. What did you see? She shook her head, her expression grave. I couldn't see the top. This place defies all logic. Li Wei pondered for a moment, then retrieved the ghost banner, unfolded it, and placed it on the ground. He sat on it to cushion his natural descent. Closing his eyes, he used his mental power to consult his 3 masters in the blood-mud space. The 3 elders were far more knowledgeable than those 2 young girls, aged 15 and 16. Even 5C's realm experts were unreliable in the face of true danger. Master Coffin said, I don't know much about the hidden sect, so I wasn't aware of such a strange place. Based on your description, it does sound like the Ashen domain. The Ashen domain is filled with countless dangers, each more bizarre than the last. It's impossible to guess what the phoenix-winged moth emperor encountered earlier. But it's likely some mysterious external force interfering with its consciousness. You could try your unique breathing technique to clear your mind and resist external influences. Spirit Tablet Master suggested, you could also try using mental power. I'll teach you a psychic telekinesis technique to cultivate a psychic eye. Master Guan added, shine your golden vein on it. It might reveal the evil presence. As long as your yang qi is strong enough, you'll be immune to all evil. Master Guan's words reminded Li Wei that the 4-month mark since the 6 Desires talisman had been planted was fast approaching. He still hadn't received the pill the Hidden Lord had promised. No one knew when the 6 Desires talisman would erupt. Being trapped in this damned place would be a real problem. Master Coffin said, since we were able to get in, there must be a way out. The key is to first decipher the layout of this place. I suspect this Ashen domain was artificially created. Li Wei withdrew his mental power from the blood-mud space and glanced at the 2 women a few dozen feet away, who were still trying various methods to find an exit. They hadn't noticed the Dao Ancestor Tai Chi fish had just activated. The evil camel bell does contain some food, but 3 of us sharing it won't last more than a few days. He cleared his mind of all distractions and began practicing the spiritual eye mental technique taught by his spirit tablet master. About 3 hours later, Yin Ershisi and Yaoyan had exhausted all their methods. Not only had they failed to find a way out, but their spiritual qi had also been completely depleted. They had no choice but to sit on the ghost banner and practice their breathing technique to recover their strength. Whoosh! Li Wei formed a hand seal, raised it above his head, and slowly lowered it to his forehead. Spiritual light bright flame emanated from his brow, condensing into a golden, radiant eye. According to Senior Spirit Tablet, this was a Taoist esoteric technique called the Heavenly Insight Eye, completely different from the spiritual power eye of ordinary Great Mind Masters. Even in its nascent form, it could pierce illusions, see through veils, and discern subtle traces. It was her favorite technique. It was with this very technique that she had defeated Master Coffin in a coffin opening competition, forging a bond that led to their marriage. Li Wei gazed into the distance with his heavenly insight eye, its golden light illuminating the surroundings. He saw the Yardang landforms, eroded hills shaped by the wind, shifting in position, as if 2 worlds had become misaligned and layered on top of each other. Without a doubt, one world was real, and the other was false. He immediately stood up and swiftly stripped off his upper robe, revealing a muscular physique sculpted with perfect lines. Whoosh! Whoosh! Golden veins emerged beneath his skin, intertwining like dragons, coursing through his body and illuminating the area around him. Yin Shi was startled. Sitting atop her ghost banner, she raised her head and stared, her eyes wide with astonishment, her heart filled with indescribable shock. She had always considered herself a top-tier genius, and after reaching the 5 Seas realm, she had looked down on the younger generation, rarely finding anyone worthy of her attention. Yet Li Wei, standing beside her, was only at the 8th Spring realm. The extraordinary aura radiating from him rivaled that of 5 Seas realm martial mystic cultivators and great mind masters. She suspected that once he broke through to the 9 springs, he could challenge her with pure strength. Yaoyan's eyes shimmered with admiration, her gaze openly filled with wonder and appreciation. Li Wei's body seemed sculpted by the hands of a god, not only aesthetically perfect but also radiating a masculine charm that could draw in one's very soul. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 2. Julie Insect Valley. Chapter 71-98 The Governor of Yenzhou. 71st of Volume 2. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Does he have golden vein meridians? Yaoyan asked. The light in Yin Shi's pupils dimmed as she replied coldly, I'm afraid so. Otherwise, how could he, with only 8th spring cultivation, defeat a 9 springs pure immortal physique with 100 silver veins? Yaoyan said, but I heard that forging even 1 or 2 golden vein meridians is an extraordinary achievement. He has 1, 2. I can't even count them all. Li Wei suddenly burst into laughter, I understand. We were drawn here by that purple cistanch and mistakenly entered this ashen domain. But why could we see it in the spider cave? If I'm not mistaken, we must rely on it to return. It is the root and source of everything. Illusions and deceptions in the ashen domain couldn't fool Li Wei's heavenly insight eye under the illumination of his golden vein meridians. He found the correct location of the purple cistanch. It was not ahead, but behind them, near a distant sand dune. It was likely several miles away, but its purple glow could still be seen from afar. It was like a purple divine lamp illuminating the depths of darkness. Follow closely behind me, Li Wei said, don't fall behind, and don't let any other thoughts or illusions distract you. Li Wei maintained his golden vein meridian and heavenly insight eye, glancing at Yin Shi and Yaoyan. His expression froze, and he immediately retracted his gaze, daring not to look again. With one hand forming a finger seal and the other holding the yellow dragon sword, he led the way, striding quickly toward the sand dune where the cistanch grew. After they had walked several hundred meters, a sudden wind arose. Sha. The wind whipped up the black sand, revealing numerous sparks beneath. These sparks emitted an intense, fiery glow, like embers from an unextinguished campfire. As the wind blew, the ash-like sand ignited, spreading across vast areas. Yaoyan, her voice trembling with fear, exclaimed, I remember now. Grandfather once said that in the ashen domain, the ash is merely a surface phenomenon. The true danger lies in the embers. What embers? Li Wei dared not turn around. The psychic technique taught by his spirit tablet master was utterly treacherous, difficult to control. Other great mind masters' psychic power eyes were nowhere near as sinister. How could his possibly pierce through the veil so precisely? Yaoyan stopped abruptly, her eyes wide with horror as she pointed at a burning sand dune in the distance. Ember spirits. Humanoid ember spirits. Li Wei had already seen them. A mile away on the sand dune, 6 humanoid figures had appeared. Some were tall, reaching 3 or 4 meters, while others were child-sized. Their bodies seemed to be composed of burning ember, glowing brightly in the wind and constantly emitting sparks. How strange. They don't even look like living beings. They're coming. Run. Li Wei gasped, immediately activating the clear void cicada chasing step and sprinting toward the cistanch at top speed. Behind him, Yin Shi grabbed Yaoyan and unleashed the speed of a 5 Seas realm martial mystic cultivator, each step covering several dozen feet. The 6 ember spirits were incredibly fast. As they charged, sparks filled the sky like a fiery rain against the night. They emitted inhuman roars that echoed through the ashen domain, stirring up dust and howling winds. Yin Shi was filled with regret. She shouldn't have agreed to Li Wei's request to bring Yaoyan here. These 6 ember spirits were far beyond her current cultivation level. If they were caught, how could they possibly fight? Clang! Clang! A deep, resonant bell sound echoed through the air. A massive camel, standing 3 or 4 meters tall, materialized from thin air. Half transparent, half solid, it raised its head proudly, its coat gleaming brightly. Li Wei, shirtless, sat atop the camel and extended a hand toward her. Yin Shi reached out, grasped his hand for leverage, and, with Yaoyan in tow, leapt onto the camel's back. Though questions raced through her mind, this was no time to indulge her curiosity. Escape was the only priority. The wind howled in her ears as the camel's speed surpassed even that of some strange beasts. In a matter of breaths, they would reach the base of the sand dune where the sistanch grew. Awoo! The largest ember spirit let out a long howl, then spewed a fiery dragon of sparks from its mouth. It snaked through the air, swiftly pursuing the camel ahead. Yin Shi turned to face the threat, channeling her spiritual chi into a mirror-shaped spiritual artifact. A bright beam of light shot from the mirror's surface, colliding with the fiery dragon. Boom! The dragon exploded, scattering into a dazzling and dangerous rain of fire. Li Wei unfurled his ghost banner, releasing a nether mist that shielded them from the falling embers. As they drew closer to the sistanch, Li Wei's eyelids narrowed. He realized they were approaching a dried-up ancient river channel, over 100 meters wide, with a 7 or 8 meter drop from the riverbank to the riverbed. The sistanch grew on a massive yellow mud ship stranded in the riverbed, its roots entwined with a skull. The camel stopped at the riverbank, and Li Wei dared not go further. The scene before him was too eerie, too unnatural. He felt he had been deliberately lured here, just as he had been trapped in the spider cave. Yin Shi's gaze sharpened. A dried-up river in the Ashen domain, that yellow mud ship. Nothing about this seems right. Are you sure we should proceed? Li Wei frowned, glancing back at the pursuing ember spirits. The 6 ember spirits continued their relentless pursuit, their roars echoing through the air. I'll try, Yaoyan suddenly said. Grandfather said I'm destined to have some connection with the Ashen domain. She stood up on the camel's back, facing backward, and activated her unique bloodline. A wave of ice soul cold chi, so frigid it made Li Wei and Yin Shi's skin ache, erupted from her. Crack, crack. Dense cracks spread across Yaoyan's jade-white skin, starting from her fingertips and feet, creeping up her slender neck, and finally spider webbing across her flawless face. The cracks converged at her sapphire blue eyes. Whoosh! A brilliant azure light burst from her pupils, illuminating the darkness and faintly echoing with a piercing cry. The frigid aura surged toward the 6 ember spirits. The pursuing ember spirits, sensing the presence of their natural enemy, froze in place, then slowly retreated. After only a moment, blood streamed from Yaoyan's eyes. She slumped back onto the camel's back, collapsing into Yin Shi's arms. Li Wei had clearly felt an extraordinary surge of demonic energy from her just moments before. He looked at Yin Shi in surprise. Don't look at me. I only found out today that she had this trick up her sleeve too. Yin Shi stroked the ice crack patterns on Yaoyan's body, her heart aching as she saw her eyes tightly closed and her breath barely a thread. Li Wei said, You didn't know. Aren't you her sister? Cousin. Yin Shi corrected, her gaze then falling on the yellow mud ship stranded on the riverbed. Her condition is critical. She might not make it. Last time in the spider cave, her ice soul cold chi erupted, and you saved her by feeding her a mouthful of sistanch. I think we might not have any other choice. No need to say more. I understand. Let's go. Li Wei wasn't a heartless person. Besides, they needed to investigate the yellow mud ship anyway to escape the Ashen domain. The camel leapt, landing on the dry riverbed. The riverbed was covered in pebbles, with only a thin layer of black sand. Finally, there was a sense of solid ground beneath their feet. The yellow mud ship was about 30 meters long, reduced to a crude hull structure. Perhaps after being stranded here for too long, its intricate details had decayed into mud. Reaching the ship's underside, Li Wei stowed the camel in the evil camel bell. Looking back, she saw the 6 ash spirits standing on the opposite bank, glaring at them menacingly but daring not to enter the riverbed. If I'd known this world was even stranger and more dangerous than I imagined, I never would have been so greedy, Li Wei sighed, turning to Yin Shi, who was holding Yaoyan. Wait here. I'll go ahead and scout. What's the point? We can't escape. We'll die anyway. Yin Shi leapt forward, landing on the yellow mud ship before Li Wei. Setting Yaoyan down, she held up a mirror-shaped spiritual artifact and cautiously approached the skeletal remains at the ship's bow. To have become a hidden one, Yin Shi naturally possessed considerable courage, but now her back grew colder, her head and feet icy. For the skeletal remains, who had sat here for who knew how many years, wore an official's robe that was utterly spotless, as if it had just been freshly donned. Illuminated by the purple glow of the sistanch above, the robe shimmered with iridescent light. The cloud dragon pattern on the chest patch came to life, the dragon's form agile and powerful as it soared through the clouds. Beneath the robe lay only a skeleton, its owner long dead. Li Wei leapt onto the ship a moment later, glancing toward the bow. He found Yin Shi fearlessly rummaging through the skeletal remains, utterly uninhibited. He couldn't help but admire her audacity. Anything? He asked once he was sure there was no danger. Yin Shi reached into the chest of the skeletal official robe and pulled out a golden imperial decree. When she opened it, the characters floated into view. After carefully reading it, she said, Indeed, an official, matching the pattern on the robe's patch. This is his appointment decree. Governor of the Yan Prefecture. Yan Prefecture was one of the 9 provinces ruled by the Zhu Li clan 1,000 years ago, long since swallowed by the Nether Realm of the dead. Could he have died 1,000 years ago? But why would he have come here by boat and died here? Li Wei gazed at the winding, wide river channel. Could this ancient river channel connect to Yan Prefecture underground? It's possible. Yin or Shi found a crucial piece of information on the decree. It's indeed from 1,000 years ago. The appointment was signed by Zhenhai Guanwu and sealed with her Son of Heaven's imperial seal. The name Zhenhai Guanwu stirred Li Wei deeply. He hurried forward. Let me see. After handing the decree to Li Wei, Yin or Shi continued searching. Beneath the skeleton's right hand, she found a square treasure chest. A look of excitement flashed across her face. Could this be the legendary official seal? Why are you so excited? You can't exactly use it to take office, Li Wei said with a chuckle, closing the decree. With no danger in sight, her mood improved considerably. Yin or Shi said, you truly know nothing. The two most important treasures that allow an official to suppress an entire prefecture are the official's robe and seal, both priceless spiritual artifacts. The official's robe represents defense and speed. Look at the cloud dragon on the patch. Legend says a true dragon soul is sealed within, serving as the official's mount. You should know that Zhenhai Guanwu once slaughtered a dragon, dividing its soul into 300 parts to forge 300 sets of official's robes. The official's seal, on the other hand, is primarily offensive, capable of shaking mountains and moving oceans. 1,000 years ago, these 300 sets of warriors made the Lingxiao Palace's rule as solid as a rock, forcing demon kings and the ancient myriad sects to remain dormant. Unlike today's officials, who are like clay figures, no one takes them seriously. Li Wei immediately stopped underestimating the situation and leaned forward, his expression serious. Before entering the spider cave, you promised everything inside would be mine. I only said the sistanch would be yours. I don't want a single bit of the precious medicine. Yin or Shi opened the treasure chest containing the official's seal. After retrieving the seal, her joy vanished, and she sighed. Fine, it's yours. But that means the debt you owe me is settled. Deal. Li Wei knew this was a huge bargain and immediately agreed. Yin or Shi, her scheme successful, chuckled. I forgot to mention that the official's robe and seal on his body have already fallen dormant. You see, before each official takes office, they need Zhenhai Guanwu to personally activate these two treasures to gain their battle prowess. Once their term ends, the treasures automatically fall dormant and must be returned to the imperial court. 1,000 years ago, the Lingxiao realm's calamity, which led to the fall of nearly 300 prefectures, was largely due to Zhenhai Guanwu's disappearance. As the officials' terms expired, their robes and seals lost their power. If the officials still possessed the power of their robes and seals, they could have easily defended 100 or 200 prefectures. Instead, only 28 remain. No backing out. Anyway, that debt of several 100 million copper coins is now wiped clean. Li Wei's mind raced, considering countless possibilities. Finally, he nodded, his gaze fixed on the sistanch growing atop the skeletal head. He wanted to know why it could project into the spider cave. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 2. Julie Insect Valley. Chapter 72-99 Meeting the Emperor. 72nd of Volume 2. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. This place was ominous. What the naked eye saw might not be the true appearance of the yellow mud great ship. Li Wei once again activated the heavenly insight eye psychic technique. Simultaneously, all the golden vein on his body surfaced, dispelling all illusions and revealing the truth. In his vision, a jade-white auspicious light rose. The underground river channel remained dry, but the yellow mud great ship beneath his feet transformed into a pristine, unblemished jade boat, over 30 meters long. Its radiant glow enveloped the surrounding heavens and earth. The jade boat was crystal clear, its structure exquisite, with countless scriptures and spiritual artifacts floating within. This is what a sacred boat worthy of an official-level figure should look like. The yellow mud great ship's decay was merely an illusion, not its true form. This sacred vessel must be of incredibly high grade. Suppressing his astonishment, Li Wei couldn't help but wonder what level of cultivation the official from 1,000 years ago had reached. Everything he had seen before was an illusion. The real official seal was not kept in a treasure chest but was as massive as a millstone, over 2 meters tall, and placed at the bow of the boat, silently radiating immense power. The purple sistanch was actually growing atop the official seal, its flesh crystal clear and fragrant. The spiritual chi between heaven and earth condensed into visible gaseous streams, flowing ceaselessly toward the official seal. There, it was absorbed by the sistanch. Swoosh. Li Wei swung his sword, slicing off a piece of the medicinal flesh and handing it to Yin or Shi. Take this and give it to Yaoyin. The ancient skeleton lying beside the official seal stirred. Its skull lifted, its hollow sockets fixed on Li Wei. Then, with a series of creaking sounds, its bones began to shift, and it slowly rose to its feet. Li Wei's scalp prickled with terror. He quickly retreated. Just as I suspected, a malevolent entity. This half-dead skeleton must have lured him here. The skeleton, clad in a purple cloud dragon official robe, didn't display any hostility after rising. It didn't attack. Instead, it straightened its robe, raised its hands to cover its knees, and knelt before Li Wei with utmost reverence, proclaiming in a loud voice, "Your subject, Zhu Qinfeng, governor official of Yenzhou, pays homage to the Son of Heaven, the Emperor." The skull slammed heavily against the ground with a resounding thump. Its voice was slightly aged, but it didn't seem to come from its mouth. It sounded as if it originated from within the bones themselves, or perhaps from the very essence of heaven and earth. If Yin Ershisi and Yaoyan weren't still on the boat, Li Wei would have fled in terror, his sword trembling in his grasp. This ancient skeleton, whose origins were terrifying beyond measure, had clearly mistaken him for someone else. Yin Ershisi, unable to see the true scene or hear the true sounds, was cradling Yaoyan and feeding her precious medicine. Li Wei slowly retreated toward them, his war sword held defensively. The kneeling skeleton raised its head, its voice choked with sorrow. In the 5-year war, Yan province fell to the dead and departed. Darkness devoured the light. Your servant led all the soldiers and civilians to defend the provincial city, enduring 3 years of bitter fighting, yet no reinforcements ever arrived. 15 rescue teams sent out for help vanished without a trace. 3 years of siege, 132 major battles. Water and food ran out within the city. Of the million soldiers and civilians, only 80,000 remained. I am guilty. I led the 80,000 survivors, the wounded and crippled, to flee through the ancient underground river, abandoning the city. Yan province fell completely. Alas! Woe! Li Wei felt the skeleton's desolate sorrow and heard the helplessness and pain in its voice. Moved by its emotions, his fear lessened slightly. He calmed himself and began to wonder why the skeleton had mistaken him for the Son of Heaven, the Emperor. For Zhu Qinfeng, the governor of Yenzhou, the Son of Heaven could only be Zhenhai Guanwu. Why would he think Li Wei was Zhenhai Guanwu? The kneeling skeleton continued, "After entering the ancient underground river, we were pursued by the Cinder Spirit Army. We fled here, where 80,000 soldiers and civilians perished one after another. As I lay mortally wounded, I left this wisp of consciousness within the official's robe, awaiting the Son of Heaven's arrival to report everything. Even in death, I would have no regrets." As the final words faded, the skeleton's shoulders and neck bones snapped simultaneously, causing its head to droop completely. It fell silent. So, he was merely a wisp of consciousness, waiting here for the Son of Heaven he revered. Li Wei's fear vanished, replaced by profound emotion. He stepped forward, a sense of respect welling up within him. Despite giving everything, Yan province had still fallen. 1,000 years of consciousness, waiting only for the sovereign. Only upon seeing the sovereign would he finally breathe his last. Spirit Tablet Master, who had been monitoring the surroundings with mental power, spoke from within the Dao Ancestor Tai Chi fish. "If I'm not mistaken, Zhenhai Guanwu left something on you. That's why Zhu Qinfeng mistook you for her." Li Wei nodded gently, straining to recall every detail of his encounters with Zhenhai Guanwu. Even if she had left something, it should have been his blood, which she had absorbed. What could it be? He murmured to himself. Spirit Tablet Master said, "Zhenhai Guanwu's cultivation far surpasses ours, reaching a level we three cannot fathom. Her methods must be incredibly subtle and sophisticated. However, she is currently very weak, while your cultivation is rapidly advancing. You should be ahead of her now. Find her quickly and eliminate this threat." In Li Wei's mind, the image of the red-robed celestial maiden on the tombstone flashed, followed by the white bone demon in the tomb, and finally, Qi Shanshan's figure. So she secretly tampered with me. Facing Zhenhai Guanwu, a being who stood at the pinnacle of the world, Li Wei felt immense pressure, considering her his greatest enemy. But now was clearly not the time to ponder how to defeat her. Escaping this place was the immediate priority. "I understand. It's the official robe." Master Coffin's voice suddenly rang out. Zhu Qinfeng's remnant consciousness used the law energy within the Sistanch to activate the official's robe, opening the purple mist passage and drawing you here. I once served as an official myself. Even when dormant, the robe can still be used once or twice as long as the flame of consciousness within it hasn't been extinguished. Wei, put on the official robe and use your mental power to check if any of Zhu Qinfeng's remnant consciousness remains. If there is, immediately activate it with your spiritual qi. Li Wei retracted his heavenly inside eye, and the golden vein on his body faded, turning dim. The dazzling spiritual artifact jade boat beneath his feet instantly transformed back into the yellow mud great ship, making it impossible to distinguish reality from illusion. After bowing 3 times, Li Wei knelt down and quickly stripped the purple official robe from the skeletal figure, racing against time. At the same time, he shouted, "You take Yaoyan and get off the ship first. Wait for me." Yin Ershisi didn't understand but guessed Li Wei must have found a way to escape. She immediately picked up Yaoyan and jumped off the yellow mud great ship. Li Wei quickly put on the purple official robe. The front and back were embroidered with cloud dragon patterns, the wide sleeves were adorned with silver buttons, and a broad brocade belt around his waist was studded with exotic gemstones and jade pendants. The official robe could automatically adjust its size to fit the wearer's body. Whoosh! Li Wei put on the official hat, formed a hand seal, and channeled mental power spiritual light into the robe. Using his psychic power to perceive, a vast, dark world within the robe appeared in his mind. In the darkness, he could see Zhu Qinfeng's scattered remnants consciousness, rapidly fading and extinguishing. Excellent. As long as these scattered remnants consciousness haven't completely extinguished, I can activate the robe one more time. Li Wei jumped off the yellow mud great ship, disregarding whether he was exposing himself. He activated the spatial power of the Buddha's relic, pulling the entire ship into the blood mud space. Yin'er Shixi watched the yellow mud great ship vanish into thin air, her eyes widening in shock. Li Wei's arms trembled as all 8 acupoints in his body surged with spiritual power, pouring it into his official robe. The vast, empty space within the robe was like a bottomless pit, never filling completely. Seeing Zhu Qinfeng's flame of consciousness rapidly dim, Li Wei broke out in a cold sweat. What are you waiting for? Help me. Pour all your spiritual qi into the robe. He shouted. Yin'er Shixi snapped out of her daze and stepped forward without a word, pressing her palm against Li Wei's back and channeling her own surging spiritual qi into him. It won't work, she said, the official's robe has fallen dormant. My spiritual qi can't penetrate it. Then why can I? Li Wei muttered to himself, his gaze suspicious. He thought, could this be related to the thing Zhenhai Guanwu left inside me? With no time to dwell on it, Li Wei activated the Jade Void breathing technique, pushing the 8 acupoints in his body to their limit. His body was completely illuminated by spiritual power, and his spiritual qi transformed into radiant clouds that swirled around him. His spiritual power and spiritual qi are actually entering the official's robe. Could he be a descendant of Zhenhai Guanwu? But I never heard of Zhenhai Guanwu having a Dao companion. How could she have descendants? Yin'er Shixi was utterly baffled. Boom. A wisp of purple mist overflowed from Li Wei's official robe, coalescing into a purple cloud. A look of wild joy spread across Li Wei's face. He shouted, follow me. Grabbing Yin'er Shixi, the 3 vanished into the purple mist. Whoosh. In the next instant, they reappeared in the pitch-black spider cave. The sound of the underground blood river's current echoed in their ears. Yin'er Shixi produced a blood-red gem, illuminating their surroundings. She let out a long sigh of relief. We're finally back. How did you do it? How did you know the official's robe could bring us back? And why could your spiritual power activate it? Inside the robe, Zhu Qinfeng's flame consciousness had completely extinguished, and Li Wei's spiritual power could no longer be infused into it. The purple mist enveloping the robe rapidly dissipated. Li Wei didn't immediately answer Yin'er Shixi's questions. Instead, he scanned their surroundings. The Ashen domain had vanished without a trace, as if it had never existed. If he weren't wearing the official's robe, he might have even suspected the entire experience had been a hallucination. Ahead, on the stone wall, was a cave the size of a human face. Spiderwebs clung to the cave's entrance. He could sense the 4-winged Spider King's aura deep within, hidden far inside. The 4-winged Spider King, possessing intelligence, had sensed the presence of a 5 Seas realm martial mystic cultivator and was hiding, too afraid to emerge. Li Wei shook his head in disappointment. He had even learned insect scriptures from Spirit Tablet Master, preparing to capture the 4-winged Spider King and gift it to senior sister Kai. But it was too cowardly to show itself. It seemed even fierce insects were bullies who preyed on the weak. They boarded a flatboat and, propelled by Yin'er Shixi's spiritual qi, navigated upstream. Emerging from the spider cave, Li Wei had already removed his official's robe, neatly folding it. In a calm but threatening tone, he said, everything you've seen today must rot in your stomach. If a 3rd or 4th person learns of this, you should understand the consequences. Yin'er Shixi stood at the boat's bow, her brow furrowed, is that all? Just a threat. The secrets you carry, I sense that if they were to leak, they would ignite a storm in the martial path world. Go ahead and tell Hidden Lord. I guarantee I'll live just fine, but you might not be so lucky. Li Wei retorted, I'm not killing you to silence you out of mercy. It's because I trust you. Yin'er Shixi's heart stirred slightly, but she quickly suppressed the corners of her mouth that threatened to curl upward. I have a bad feeling about this. Something is amiss, especially since the Ashen domain doesn't seem to be far away. We should report this to Hidden Lord. Li Wei naturally didn't believe that his current cultivation, even with the power of the official robe, could traverse such a vast underground space. Therefore, he agreed with her assessment, the Ashen domain must be nearby. Let's concoct a story, rehearse our alibis, and then tell the Hidden Lord what we can. Li Wei was still wary of Yin'er Shixi and added, the Hidden Lord was the Divine Hidden One of the previous 60-year cycle, while I am the Divine Hidden One of this cycle. You must obey me, not him. Yin'er Shixi rolled her eyes, wanting to tell him, you're not even the Divine Hidden One yet. Li Wei noticed the eyeball beneath Yaoyan's eyelid move. Since you're awake, stop pretending. The three of us will rehearse our alibis together. You're most likely Yin or Shi Lu, and from now on, you must obey me. You should know better than I do the consequences of betraying the Divine Hidden One. Yaoyan sat up, her skin's icy cracks completely vanished, restored to its supple, delicate state. The Sistanchi's medicinal properties had indeed suppressed the ice soul cold chi within her. In a melodious, enchanting voice, she declared, very well, Yaoyan vows eternal loyalty to the Divine Hidden One. Li Wei nodded in satisfaction. What a display of official authority. No wonder they say that once you've worn an official robe, you can never truly take it off for the rest of your life. Yin or Shi Si sneered sarcastically. Blank. End of chapter. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 2, Julie Insect Valley. Chapter 73, 100 Breaking Through the Nine Springs, Heading to the Burial Immortal Town. 73rd of Volume 2. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The flatboat rounded a wide bend and entered the Silver Beach River Valley. Yin or Shi Wu stood rigidly on a gentle slope overlooking the riverbank, as if he had been waiting for them for a long time. We're finished, Yin or Shi Si whispered, her voice tense, we stayed in the Ashen domain too long. They must have noticed. She knew the hidden sect's punishments were notoriously severe. Li Wei said, don't worry. Leave it to me. Yin or Shi Wu turned to the three on the boat, his face grim, where have you been? The flatboat docked. Li Wei stepped off first, passing Yin or Shi Wu with a casual air. Does a divine hidden one need to report his whereabouts to a hidden one? Is that the hidden sect's rule? Yin or Shi Wu froze for a moment. Yin or Shi Si approached, her eyes filled with sympathy. How big do you think the heart of someone is who claims to be a divine hidden one before even becoming one? Yin or Shi Wu's expression shifted. His heart pounding with unease, he hurried after Li Wei, his attitude becoming far more respectful. Yin Jun sent me to invite the three of you. What's the matter? Li Wei asked calmly, his hands clasped behind his back. Yin or Shi Wu lowered his head. It seems to be related to the matter in Burial Immortal Town. Li Wei patted his shoulder and smiled. Don't let Yin or Shi Si scare you. I'm not that petty. Lead the way. I also have something to report to Yin Jun. We fell from the spider cave into the Ashen domain and encountered 6 ember spirits. The Yin Jun's eyes, hidden behind his mask, were deep and grave. How did you escape? Li Wei replied, our cultivation was too low to understand what truly happened. After entering a purple mist, we were returned to the spider cave. I believe this matter is far from simple. The Ashen domain may have already spread near the hidden sect, possibly even swallowing the underground of many places in Li province. The Yin Jun clearly understood the significance of the Ashen domain far better than Li Wei. All the relaxedness vanished from his posture as he paced back and forth. Leave this matter to me. I will personally investigate and search for clues. I called you here for a more urgent matter. The Hidden Lord then briefly explained the situation in Burial Immortal Town. Li Wei remained calm throughout the explanation, but the three people behind him grew increasingly agitated, each wishing they had wings to fly to Burial Immortal Town immediately. There was no help for it. For Yin or Shi Si and Yin or Shi Wu, two mortals, what could be more alluring than the prospect of a pure immortal physique transformation? Though Yaoyan possessed a pure immortal physique, the Nine Springs ancestral field barrier had blocked countless arrogant pure immortal physiques from reaching the pinnacle of genius. There was a world of difference between a 9 Springs pure immortal physique and an 8 Springs pure immortal physique. The former was a supreme genius, towering over their peers. The latter might not even surpass a 9 Springs mortal. Moreover, Yaoyan had already cultivated 92 veins at the 8th Spring realm. Once she broke through to the 9 Springs, she was almost certain to surpass the 100 meridians, laying the foundation of a successor seed from the ancient myriad sects. In the Zhu Li clan, Kang Li would no longer hold sole dominance. The Hidden Lord secretly praised Li Wei's composure, saying, logically, you shouldn't be a divine hidden one yet, nor is it time for you to emerge and measure yourself against the world's heroes. But extraordinary circumstances call for extraordinary measures. This time, you will lead the team on 2 missions. First, gather as much medicine as possible. Second, secretly assist the geniuses from various Zhu Li factions participating in the Mangshan Grand Festival. The hidden sect has received word that someone intends to hunt them down. Li Wei asked, the Sui sect. The Sui sect alone wouldn't be so audacious. You'll understand when you arrive. The Hidden Lord paused, then added, right, it's best not to reveal your identity as Li Wei. Many factions are currently searching for you. My plan is to put Yaoyan in the spotlight. You and Yin or Shi Wu will use the disguise technique to pose as her 2 personal attendants and accompany her to Burial Immortal Town. Since she's only recently joined the hidden sect and only the Yao Li tribe's clan chief knows about it, this should help conceal your true identities. Yin or Shi Si asked, Hidden Lord, what about me? Am I not going with them? The hidden ones from the 5 Seas realm will be led by Yin Ju. You have a separate mission. The hidden lord kept Li Wei behind and produced a medicine bottle. These pills suppress the 6 desires talisman. I've refined a total of 5. Furthermore, I've learned that if you can persuade the 9 great priests to work together, they can help you refine the 6 desires talisman within you. So, there's no need to worry too much. Also, before you leave, go to the Coffin Sea Pavilion's treasure vault and retrieve a high-grade spiritual artifact level night cloak from the 45th Supreme Elder. Its stealth capabilities are far superior to those of low-grade spiritual artifacts, and it offers significantly enhanced defense and speed. Most importantly, it can block Shi Luyu's detection of the 6 desires talisman on your body. The hidden lord continued, once you reach Burial Immortal Town, find the Immortal Haze tainted elixir and break through the 9 Springs ancestral field as quickly as possible. Then, start preparing to break into the 5 Seas realm. Only by reaching the 5 Seas realm can you truly be considered among the elite of the younger generation. Divine hidden ones cannot fall too far behind inheritors. You must catch up to Kang Li as soon as possible. Have you refined your golden vein meridians yet? Golden vein meridians. Are these what you mean? Li Wei was direct. He stripped off his upper garment, revealing 9 golden vein meridians. The dazzling golden light was so intense that the hidden lord couldn't keep his eyes open. He exclaimed in a rare moment of composure, you've refined 9 already. And you've done this at the 8th spring cultivation level. Isn't this what you asked for? Refining 9 golden vein meridians puts me ahead of most inheritors. Li Wei suddenly sensed something. He paused, recalling the hidden lord's voice from earlier. It sounded strangely familiar. The hidden lord quickly suppressed his excitement. After a moment of thought, he said, you shouldn't rush into the 5 Seas realm just yet. Spend more time cultivating in the Spring Surge realm. Do you have a someone special in the Zhu Li clan? Li Ling. Yaoyan. Yin or Shi Si. The hidden sect can help arrange introductions. Li Wei stepped out of the mountain gate and encountered Yin or Shi Si. You must have a lot of influence, she said. Hidden lord didn't even pursue the matter of you illegally harvesting rare medicines. Get to the point, Li Wei said. Yin or Shi Si didn't mince words. Help me gather 3 immortal haze tainted elixirs that can aid in the transformation of a pure immortal physique. 3. You're really daring to ask, Li Wei said. Yin or Shi Si replied, the higher one's cultivation, the more immortal haze tainted elixirs are needed. Don't worry, I'll pay for them. Can you even afford it? Just say you want to owe me. Fine, a debt is still a debt. I'll do my best. Li Wei relented. Yin or Shi Si smiled radiantly. On the 3rd day of the 9th month, 6 days remained until the Mangshan Grand Festival. Li Wei, wearing a straw hat and carrying an insect cage on his back, sat at a roadside noodle stall in Zhu Li City, slurping down a bowl of soup noodles. With the tip of his finger, he traced a long ribbon of spiritual qi in the air. The ribbon extended along the ground, stretching 10 meters before dissipating and merging with the air. Is this the limit of ancestral field qi's reach? Yin Jun had clearly underestimated Li Wei. To break through the 9 Springs ancestral field, he didn't need rare medicines. He had naturally broken through it that morning. Li Wei truly had no idea about the legendary 10th spring. Even his 3 masters were only vaguely familiar with it and couldn't offer any help. From now on, he would have to rely on his own exploration. After receiving the secret letter, Zhao Zhuo immediately rushed to the noodle stall and sat across from Li Wei, his emotions a mix of excitement and worry. It really is you, brother Li. Why did you come to Zhu Li City? The Yang clan, the Shui clan, the Earthwolf King's army, Coffin Mountain, and assassins from all over the world are hunting you. It's too dangerous. Come with me to the clan academy and hide for a while. The first commander is deeply concerned for your safety. As he spoke, he pulled out a pouch of coins he had prepared in advance and placed it in front of Li Wei. This is all I can repay for now. Li Wei opened the pouch, counted the coins, and then pushed a bowl of noodle soup across the table. I secretly summoned you because I have several important matters to discuss. What matters? You've been at the clan academy for months. Have you met Qi Shanshan? Zhao Zhuo nodded, a strange expression crossing his face. He chuckled, the pharmacist Qi is not an ordinary woman. What do you mean? Li Wei asked. Zhao Zhuo whispered, she's just immortal. Her beauty can't compare to those with pure immortal physiques, and her cultivation talent is nowhere near Yang Qingxi and other heavenly prodigies. Yet Kang Li, a peerless genius, has been completely captivated by her. This has already caused several clashes between him and the clan chief and his wife. Li Wei was stunned. He knew Qi Shanshan was skilled, but he hadn't realized her abilities were this extraordinary. She had managed to capture Kang Li, a man even Yang Qingxi couldn't win over. Zhao Zhuo chuckled. Shocked, aren't you? Actually, I can understand. Kang Li is indeed exceptionally talented, but he's been under strict pressure from his clan since childhood. Everyone has been telling him what he should do, but no one has ever asked him what he wants. Someone who lacks affection and has no experience in matters of the heart, how could they resist falling for a master of emotional manipulation? Li Wei nodded in agreement. But he thought deeper, suspecting the Zenhai Guanwu within Qi Shanshan might be orchestrating everything. Where is she now? Li Wei asked. Zhao Zhijuo replied, Kang Li took her to Burial Immortal Town, claiming he wants to help her gather Immortal Haze tainted elixir to transform her into a pure immortal physique. Li Wei's expression turned grave. This situation had become far more complicated. To move against Qi Shanshan, he would first have to get past Kang Li. He asked, what about my senior brother and Kai Yutong? Zhao Zhijuo replied, they've become disciples of the Zhu Li Dao Academy and have already gone to Burial Immortal Town to participate in the Mengshan Grand Festival. This was what Li Wei had expected. After all, if Yang Qingxi knew about their pure immortal physique transformation, there was no secret to keep. Becoming disciples of the Zhu Li Dao Academy was the best choice. Yet Li Wei couldn't shake the feeling that this made things even more dangerous. Old Zhao, do you want to fully recover your cultivation? Zhao Zhijuo, who had been eating noodles, froze as if struck by lightning. After a long pause, his expression finally returned to normal. Can that senior really help me reach the 5th stage of the 5 Seas realm? Yes, the 5th stage. Don't get too excited. Finish your noodles first, Li Wei said. Zhao Zhijuo had no appetite left. Brother Li, just tell me what you want me to do. As long as it can restore me to my peak cultivation, I'll do it even if it means dying tomorrow. It's not that extreme. I'm not asking you to die. With the backing of the entire Zhu Li hidden sect, Li Wei's courage had naturally grown. He no longer needed to worry about Zhao Zhijuo's cultivation being too high and turning against him. How could Li Wei not have been worried before? A person's mindset inevitably changes as their strength grows. Who knew if Zhao Zhijuo, once his cultivation was restored, would still be a trustworthy person? Come, I'll take you to meet a friend. Remember, no matter how incredible things get, don't ask any questions and keep your lips sealed. Old Zhao, don't betray my trust. After finishing their noodles, Li Wei led Zhao Zhijuo out of Zhu Li City to the docks along the Shui River. From afar, they could see a large ship flying a flag bearing the character, Yao. Yaoyan stood on the ship's bow deck, her posture graceful and elegant. She wore a pale blue veil, and 2 young maids in white robes stood behind her. Servants of the Yao Li tribe were loading crates of goods onto the ship. The 3 had split up after leaving the Zhu Li hidden sect. Yaoyan and Yin'er Shiwu had gone to the Yao Li tribe's clan hall to make all the necessary arrangements. Yaoyan greeted Li Wei and Zhao Zhijuo as they boarded the ship. She exuded the refined elegance of a noble lady, a faint smile always playing on her lips. Greetings, Miss Yin. Zhao Zhijuo, aware of the legends surrounding the Yao Li tribe's pure immortal physique, was astonished, wondering how Li Wei had managed to attach himself to her. Yaoyan pulled Li Wei aside into a private cabin and asked, who is he? A master. A very high-level one. Li Wei's eyes sparkled with excitement as he began plotting something. Knowing Li Wei wouldn't cause trouble, Yaoyan didn't press further. I am the granddaughter of the Yao Li tribe's clan chief. I've just returned from studying in a mysterious place outside Li province. You and Yin'er Shiwu are my personal guards, both from outside the province. You need a new name. Sima Qin. After choosing his new name, Li Wei asked, mysterious place. Didn't the hidden sect make detailed arrangements? The more vague, the more intimidating. They'll fill in the blanks themselves, Yaoyan replied. As Li Wei entered the cabin arranged by the Yao Li tribe, he prepared to continue studying the application of spiritual qi from the 9th spring ancestral field. Zhao Zhijuo knocked and entered to pay a visit. Once inside, he lowered his voice. Brother Li, do you know Miss Yin's background is extraordinary? And she's far from as gentle and approachable as she seems. Legend has it she's killed many people in the Yao Li tribe, earning a fearsome reputation. Don't be fooled by her appearance. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.